Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. This is my September TBR. As always, this TBR is fairly ambitious, but I don't have too many physical books to show you. There are only 12, which isn't too bad. I do have some very exciting things coming up in September, so I'm not expecting to have a whole bunch of reading time. Work itself is obviously going to be really busy because we're in the middle of an integration sort of thing. Also at the beginning of the month, Quill and I are getting legally married. I say legally because we're not having a massive wedding. We're saving that for 2025, but it will still take up some of my time, and then we're going on a road trip down to Cornwall and Devon. So that's the first couple of weeks of the month, and then afterwards it's probably just going to be me working, but I do think I'm going to have lots of reading time. So I'm going to show you the physical books that I'm planning on reading in September first, and then we can talk about some of my Netgalley books because I'm still trying to get my Netgalley TBR down. We have Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. So I don't think I've posted my August wrap up by the time you're watching this, but I basically binge read Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn in August, and now I can finally finish off the series, which I have been in the middle of for years. Prior to this year I hadn't touched this series since 2015, and now I'm marathoning the entire thing, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad that I am back into it. This is the 7th book in the Throne of Glass series. I am loving this series. I don't think Tower of Dawn was the best book in the series. I'll talk more about that in my wrap up and also in a dedicated reading vlog, but I'm really excited to see how all of this ends, what's happening with Aelin and Rowan and all of my favourite characters. So I'm expecting good things from this one, and then eventually, I think probably at the end of September or beginning of October, I will post my Throne of Glass series reading vlog. I'm also planning on reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and also possibly Killjoy if I decide I want to read this one first before this, or if I want to read this one and the rest of the series and then read Killjoy. I haven't really decided yet, so I'll put them both on my TBR. So these will both be rereads for me. Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a mystery series set in the county that I live in. So what I'm going to be doing is two projects for this. I'm going to be doing a reading vlog for the entire series. Even though I've already read the series, I think it would be fun to see how it all connects together from the start. And I also want to show you guys all of the places that this series mentions, because like I said, it's set in the county that I live in. I live really close by to various goings on in this book. Towns near me are mentioned, so I'm really excited to do that. And then my next project for it is going to be recapping the entire series for my YouTube channel. If you don't know, I run the website Recaptains, where I recap book series, and I've been running it since 2013, so it's 10 years old. It's amazing. I love it so much, but I have been wanting to bring the recaps over to Booktube for a little while now, because not everyone likes reading summaries. People enjoy watching videos on them, so I've decided that I will start with two series to begin with. I'm going to do Fourth Wing and I'm going to do A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I haven't really decided on the format of that yet. I don't know if I'm going to sort of do the murder board behind me with like string and like a pointy stick, or if I want to do some like drawing or a mixture of both. Let me know what you think would be best. I do quite like the murder board thing and the gif of the guy from Always Sunny, I think, pointing angrily at the murder board as he's figuring something out. I think that's quite fun, and also it'll go with this cover. But anyway, yeah, I'm planning on reading these two, rereading them. They're YA mystery thriller books. I'm also hoping to read Loathe to Love You. I was initially just going to read the first short story a couple of months ago, and I just didn't get around to it because I don't really get on with short stories, but I have a feeling that I might want to read a couple of romance books at the beginning of September because I'm getting married and all mushy. So I think I'm going to read probably the first two, and then my plan to leave Below Zero, the wintry, snowy one, to actual winter. It's like December, January time. I'll probably do that. These are by Ali Hazelwood, the author of The Love Hypothesis and various other things. I've read all of her work to date apart from this book, so I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Like I said, I am going on a road trip down to Cornwall and Devon, and I found a book in the charity shop that I really want to read during this road trip, and the idea only just came to me, to be fair, but I think it's quite a cool idea. I want to read Rebecca because this is a gothic classic and it is set in Cornwall. I don't think it ever explicitly mentions it, but if you Google it, you can see some places in Cornwall that did inspire places or events in this book. I actually have no idea what this book is about because I've not seen any spoilers, which is pretty great for a really old classic book. I know that it's gothic and very atmospheric, and I think the main character, whose name I'm not sure we know, is taken by a guy to his manor house in Cornwall, and she learns stuff about his ex-wife, Rebecca, or previous wife. I don't know if Rebecca's dead or like hiding in the attic or something. I know that that's a plot of a different classic book, but yeah, I thought this might be quite fun to read while I'm down there. And because that book is quite dark, I didn't want to only read that while I'm on holiday, on my honeymoon. So I also picked up Wish Lists and Road Trips. I hauled this one quite recently. I can't remember if my book haul is up at the moment, but I found this for like £3. This one is set in Costa Rica, I think, and it's a romance book, so I thought I would pick this one up because I probably need something lighter amongst Rebecca. Obviously Halloween is coming up, and in this spooky season I really want to do a couple of horror reading vlogs, and I need to get started on that towards the end of September so that I can get them all up in time. I've got quite a few ideas. So one book that I really want to read is Lovecraft Country. My partner read this about a year ago, I think, and he did enjoy it. I don't know what it's about at all, but I know that it's also a series on HBO, and I think it's finished and wrapped up now. Jordan Peele is involved, and I really like his stuff, so I want to read this and then watch the series. I don't know if it's like a series of short stories. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, no idea what this one's about. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. And then I also want to pick up Paradise 1. This is a space horror book. I think the main characters learn that people have gone missing or silent, and they go and travel to the place in space where they were last heard from, or they were meant to be, and then they discover horrible things have happened there. But that's probably the gist of it. I really enjoy space horror at the moment, and I really wish there was more of it. So yeah, I've picked this one up, and I'm hoping to read this towards the end of September as well. I picked up a non-fiction book, and that is Killers of the Flower Moon. It says it's about oil, money, murder, and the birth of the FBI. This is being turned into a film, I think with Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's coming out in October or November. So I really want to read this before the film comes out, and then maybe do a video on that, the film and the events that are covered here. So I think basically what happens is this is set in a place in the US, and rich people are going there to get oil and make a ton of money, and the Native American people who live there are being killed or go missing, or both. It says here that the family of one woman became a prime target, her relatives shot or poisoned. As the death toll climbed, the FBI took up the case and began to expose one of the most chilling conspiracies in American history. I think this sounds so interesting. I'd love to do a video on this if I enjoy the book and if the film's any good, because this isn't really something we know about or learn about in the UK without doing our own research. So I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. I'm also picking up another reread. Actually, I've got quite a few going on at the moment. This one is 1,000 Pieces of You. This is a parallel universe portal sort of fantasy sci-fi book. I don't remember loads about it. I remember giving this 4 or 5 stars because it was really fast paced, and I really liked the ship, and there were some twists towards the end that made me very intrigued. So I do have the other books in this series to pick up as well. I just haven't ever picked them up. I found this one really cheap, and so I want to read this and then finally finish off the series this year because I'm trying to finish off more series. It says here that the main character Marguerite grew up surrounded by cutting-edge scientific theories thanks to her brilliant physicist parents. Nothing is more astounding than her mother's latest invention, a device called the Firebird that allows people to leap into alternate dimensions. I really like parallel universe kind of stuff, so that's why I picked this one up originally, and I'm really looking forward to carrying on with it. I also really want to finish off Of Women and Salt. I read the first 20 or so pages of this. I really liked the writing style, but I just didn't carry on reading it because I wasn't really in the mood for historical literary fiction. But this follows, I think, 3 generations of Cuban women. It starts off in the 1800s, and the main character works in a factory in Cuba, and then there's a load of political upheaval, and then it starts to follow her descendants. I really enjoy generational stories and family history. I found out some own stuff about my own family history recently that I may share in another video, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I also really need to finish off The Gift of Fear. I was doing a buddy read on this at the beginning of the year with my partner. We were meant to be reading 1 chapter every couple of nights or something like that and discussing it, and I had the idea, or we had the idea, that we would do this with a few non-fiction books throughout the year, and we stopped here in February just because stuff got busy. He got into a reading slump. I don't really read loads of non-fiction at the moment, so I really want to finish this one off, and I'm thinking that maybe we can listen to the audiobook on our road trip. I know it's a bit of a weird thing for a road trip, but I think it'll be quite interesting for us to listen to together. So this one is basically a non-fiction book about survival instincts, The Gift of Fear, and how you should listen to your gut, and women are particularly good at listening to their guts when they're about to be in a dangerous situation or coming across someone dangerous. That gut feeling is very important. Recently, I'll probably talk about this more in another video if I review this, but I was in a situation at the local cinema. My partner and I actually had to listen to The Gift of Fear. I don't really want to go into too much detail because it was quite upsetting, but the fact that we had to apply what we had been reading about in this was pretty, I don't even know the word, it was like awesome, but in the way that that word was originally intended, if that makes sense. My vocabulary is just failing me right now, but yeah, I just couldn't believe that we had to apply what this book was telling us so soon after starting it, so I want to finish this one off. I also really want to read The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I've read a book by her before and really enjoyed it. She writes Welsh fantasy and I am part Welsh, and I have been to Wales and I love it, so I'm really able to imagine what she is writing about, which is really cool. I don't really know loads about this one, to be honest. I got it from the library and I picked it up because I've read previous books by her before, but I've not seen anyone really talk about it. It says here that once upon a time the kingdoms of Wales were rife with magic and conflict. So it's a fantasy book, and the main character can manipulate water, and I think people are after her because of that magic power, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I really enjoy this author's writing. And then finally, for my physical books, I want to read Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. I've really enjoyed Rachel Caine's books in the past. This is a YA book by her. It's historical fantasy, I think, somewhat based around the Library of Alexandria, but I don't really know the details. It says here that it's an alternate history. Actually, the Great Library of Alexandria was never destroyed. Knowledge now rules the world, freely available. So maybe it's not historical, or not, like, it's not ancient, I don't think. I don't know. But this is the first book in a series, and if I enjoy it, I'm going to carry on with it. Okay, so that was it for my physical books, and now I just really want to quickly talk about the NetGalley books that I have coming out in September and October, and the ones that I am prioritising. First of all, we have Daughter of Winter and Twilight. This is the sequel to a book which name has escaped me. This author wrote a fantasy book. I'll put the cover up on the screen because I can't remember the title right now, and I really enjoyed that one. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. Honestly, I cannot think of it. So I enjoyed that one. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, and I'm hoping this one is going to be even better. The House Beyond the Dunes. This one is about a woman whose memories, I think, were repressed because something awful happens, and then she goes back to the scene of whatever happened and they start rushing back to her. I don't know. It's a thriller, so I don't really read the synopses for thriller books. We have The Changing Man, which I'm going to read as part of my horror reading vlog, I think. This is a YA book. I know nothing about it, but I really enjoy this cover. I think it's so creepy. I have a couple of other thrillers. The first one is called This Is How We End Things. Again, don't know anything about it. I don't read the synopses for thrillers. And I also have The Ski Trip, which I think might be better read later on in the year when it's colder, but I'm interested in reading it in September. I have a sci-fi book called The Never Wars. It says here that this one is a mind-bending mix of Interstellar and The Expanse. A group of disgraced special forces are given one chance to redeem themselves. The question is whether they'll survive long enough for it to matter. I think that sounds fun and action-packed. I've also got The Golden Gate. I think this one is a historical murder mystery. I've also got The Mysterious Double Death of Honey Black. It's a very big mouthful of a title. This is another Hollywood murder mystery that I have been kind of trying to dabble into recently. It hasn't been very successful so far, but I have high hopes for this one. The tagline says, "You know she has been murdered, can you stop it from happening twice?" I think it might be a time travel sort of thing as well, which again, really enjoy, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. And then again, another Hollywood themed book, I have Everybody Knows. This again is some sort of thriller. It's about a publicist in Hollywood who is trying to stop a load of stuff from coming out, I think. Apparently it's very exhilarating, sharp, suspenseful, an absolute tour de force. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a go as well. So that is my entire September TBR. Almost forgot which month we were in then. I'm really excited for all of these books, all of these projects that I'm doing. I'm finding at the moment that if I'm reading for a certain project, like finishing a series or a specific reading vlog, then it's going very well and it keeps me motivated. I didn't do too well with ARC August, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm looking forward to my rereads. I think this is going to be a really fun month in September, especially with everything that I've got going on as well. I will let you know how it all goes at the end of the month, but between now and then there will be other videos going up, and I'm going to try to get ahead with my recording so that there isn't a massive gap between now, me getting married, and then my wrap up, because I want to carry on posting while I'm on my first honeymoon. I'm calling it my first honeymoon because in 2 years time we're probably going to go away again. So have a lovely September, and thank you for watching this video. Let me know if there are any of these books that you're particularly excited for me to read, if you want me to review any of them individually. Like I said, I'm doing reading vlogs for quite a few of them, but the ones I'm not already planning to do vlogs for, I'm happy to do if you would like. Other than that, have a lovely day and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye.